Okay, so guys, this is just a short tutorial to show you how to download and install Python on your Windows computer. Okay, this is just for Windows operating system users. Okay, so it will be a very quick video to show you how to work around it, downloading and then installing Python on your Windows operating system. Probably you are interested in learning programming for whatever reason. I don't know, you might be an experienced programmer or new to programming, but then you want to jump into Python. So this is the right place for you, just to show you how to download and install Python on your system. Okay, so just to jump straight into that, I don't want to waste much time on that. So let's move straight into it. Okay, so yeah, we have our web browser opened. It can be any web browser, okay, not just Google Chrome, but it can be any web browser. So I have Google Chrome opened, and then I want to start the whole process in that. So what I do is just get into my web browser and type python uh, .org, and it seems I've searched it a couple of times, so it's just popping up. So python.org, and then you hit enter, and once you hit enter, it will open a nice screen for you. Okay, so that is the official Python website for you to download your exe file for installation. Okay, so now this is the screen I'm talking about. Nice screen opened. So let's see what you can do here. Okay, so here when you hover your mouse on the download menu, you see small window popping up, and that window has, just on the right, you see Python 3.10.5. Okay, download for Windows. So if you're not using Windows, this is not for you. But if you're using Windows, then that is for you. So you just see where I'm just hovering my mouse over. So that is what I'm talking about. It's just a button. When you click on it, it's going to download Python 3.10.5, and this is the current release. Okay, this is the current exe file release. Okay, so probably if you may be watching this video later, your case might be different. You might be, maybe by the time you watch your video, it could be a new version. All right, but this is at the time of this recording is Python 3.10.5. If you also want to check the other versions, you can click on this link, the link that I am just hovering my mouse on. View the full list of downloads. You can click on that and then check other versions of it. Probably you want to work with 3.7, 3.8, whatever. But then this is the current release, so we want to work with that one. Okay, I have downloaded it already, so I don't want to do another download for it. But for your case, you need to hit on that button and get Python exe file downloaded into your system. So once that is done, what is next? So let me go into my download folder. All right, so if yours is also downloaded, you'll get it in the download folder, whatever folder you have set as your default download folder. That is where you're going to get it. So in my download folder, I should see Python. Okay, good, I have it here. So I have Python 3.10.5 downloaded nicely. So I just right click or double click. Okay, it's your choice. You can right click or double click. If you right click, what you get is you get options. All right, options to give you the permission to run the download file. To run that installation. If you double click to, it's still going to do the same thing for you, but I have to right click. Oh, sorry, I have done right click, and then I just hit on run as administrator. So if I hit on run as an administrator, I get another pop-up. Okay, good. So I have another pop-up, and then it's asking me that, do I trust the source? Do I want to install? Yes, I want to install. Okay, good. So now it's going to give me another window which would expect me to do something. Now this is very important and very key to your installation. I mean the success of your installation. Now, if you check here, just down below, you see on the pop-up screen, you see that there is this small instruction here that says add Python 3.10 to path, and it has a checkbox to the left of it, and that is optional, but it is very important that you check that box. If you don't, now this is the problem you are causing. If you don't, you are just going to go through another problem of trying to define the full download path or the full installation path of Python in your system before you can run it in your command line. That's what you're doing. So Windows systems have what we call system variables, and those environment variables, and those environment variables make it possible for your command prompt or Windows command line to automatically know where a program has been installed in your system. So when you run it, it automatically picking the source from there, and then you don't have to go in there and manually key in the download path, the installation path of your program in the system. So that is the kind of problem you're saving ourselves by checking that box. So now I check that box and I hit install, and that is the default installation pattern that we need to do, unless maybe you want to take some things out and bring some things in, then you go for customized installation, but I recommend that you go for the default one. And so for the default one, depending on the speed of your system, I mean, it can take some seconds, it can take some minutes. So let's just wait for maybe a minute or two. Maybe it can be less depending on your Windows, your computer speed can be less. So let's just wait for this thing to finish. Then we continue from there. Okay. Okay, so it seems our installation is done. So what we need to do is to check to see if Python is actually installed successfully. Then that will be it. Okay, so there are two ways to check this thing here, right? And the first thing that I want to, or you might want to see, is to see if it's already found inside the installed program. So we can just hit on our Windows key on our keyboard, okay, or just look at just down there, you see the Windows symbol just beneath your screen, and you can hit on that. Either you hit on the key, Windows key, or you hit on the Windows symbol beneath your screen or on your screen, and then you get this nice pop-up, and then you type Python. Okay, so when you type Python and you see Python there appearing as one of the installed programs, then that means it's a success. Okay, so from what we see that Python 3.10 is there. Okay, and up there we see IDLE there. Now this is um, a programming environment that we need. Okay, it's like uh, a sheet. Let's assume that you're going to write something. Okay, you're going to write a test or a quiz. You need a sheet of paper or you need a book to write inside. That is exactly what we need to do our coding. It's a place where we do our coding. Say it's an environment. Okay, so this comes pre-installed with Python. Okay, so you don't need to go and download and install this one. It comes with it. So you can have this as your practice kind of IDE. Okay, integrated development environment. You can use that as your IDE. Of course, you might also want to go for other IDs. We have PyCharm there, we have VS Code, uh, we have Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter Lab, we have Spider, we have a whole lot of them there. So you can go for one of them, or you can just use this one for the interim. Okay, most of the time this is not recommended for production purposes, but you can use it for the interim, to do your practice and see, go work your way around Python and see how the whole thing is done. Okay, so this is just the first one. Let's look at the second one, or the second way to check if Python is installed nicely or properly in our system. And that we need to, there's the Windows key on your system, on the keyboard. You hit on your Windows key, don't leave it, then also press the R. Okay, so the Windows key and the R together will open a nice screen on your computer. Okay, and that says mine, you see CMD there already. Okay, you can see the CMD here written, and that's exactly what I wanted to write, but it's there. If yours is not there, then you have to type it there. So CMD. When you type CMD and you hit enter, what happens is that your Windows command prompt opens, and this is where we check if Python is also installed in our environment variable. Okay, so we type Python and hit enter and see if we can see that Python is actually working in our system. Now, when we check that box that we talked about earlier, this is what it did. Okay, this is what it has done for us. This is the end results. That if we had not checked that box and then type in this Python, we won't get this results. We might have gotten an error, and because we did not allow the system or the computer itself or the system itself to show us exactly where Python is installed in the system. So since we checked that box, that means it has already been added to the system or the environment variable, and then the computer automatically knows where Python is installed in our system without us telling it manually. So that is um, the beauty of checking that box. Okay, so this is the end of our tutorial. If you have any question, let me know about it. If not, then I think you can work your way around it by downloading and installing Python in your system. Okay, thank you for your time. Okay, so bye.